When I started my business, I did what most entrepreneurs do, and I created a website. And nobody came. For about 2 years, I experienced a trickle of website traffic, which resulted in a trickle of leads, which of course resulted in 0 sales, at least from my website anyway. Then I implemented a powerful tool we all know, SEO, and I watched as I started making money from Google. Today, I make thousands of dollars every single month from Google without paid ads, and I'm going to share with you how I do it in today's video. Hey there, I'm Michelle Knight, founder and CEO of Brandmerry, and this channel is where we share branding and marketing advice to help you create more income and impact. And today I've got a special video for you because we're gonna talk about, how I make thousands of dollars every month via Google. And I know that seems really clickbaity, and I apologize in advance for that thumbnail and for that title, but it's not a lie. It's incredibly true. And I'm going to share with you how you can apply these tangible steps to your business, because I really think that it can work for every single type of business. All right, let's get you all set up here so we can have a really great conversation about using Google for your business. So, as I've already mentioned, I really believe that this can work for every single business. And this is actually something that we teach inside of my program, Brandmerry Academy. We have all kinds of different types of businesses: doulas, coaches, consultants, graphic designers, photographers, product-based business. So I've seen it work, and I want to share with you exactly what you need to have in place for this to work for your business as well. Like most entrepreneurs, you probably have a website or you're thinking about creating a website, and that is amazing. But what we neglect to think about is how is that website ultimately going to get traffic? And that's where SEO comes into play. But before I get into that, let's back it up just a little bit and talk about what I'm ultimately selling on my website, because I think this plays a really big role. You know, a lot of people think that in order to make thousands of dollars every month, you need to have courses on Evergreen, you need to be doing maybe affiliate, maybe that's in the back of your mind, selling ebooks, selling a product, and all of that does work. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm making this money from is my high-level one-on-one. So I just wanted to share that because I don't want you to think that you have to create a course from the ground up to then sell it in order for this to work. You can very easily package your one-on-one services into kind of a one-to-one relationship and sell those, because that's what I'm doing. And as I've already mentioned, product-based businesses, all kinds of businesses can benefit from this marketing strategy. So the very first thing that you want to have is an offer, right? Because if we're going to be getting this traffic, we want people to take action. Now, that's not to say that you can't implement SEO early on in your business. If you're going to do that and you don't have an offer yet, make sure you have a lead magnet. I talk a lot about list building on the Brandmerry blog and on my podcast, the Brandmerry podcast. And we're going to be releasing some additional videos here on email list building as well. So definitely make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you get notified when that new video comes out. But essentially, you want to have something that your audience can take action on. Why is this important? Because the type of SEO that I'm going to encourage you to implement is going to apply to someone who is at the final stages of the customer buying journey. What is that, Michelle? What is the customer buying journey? I talk about that entire process more in depth in this video right here. So definitely check that out. But essentially, your ideal customer could be coming in at the very beginning stages of understanding their problem, all the way to the point where they are ready to invest. They know the solution, they know their options, and they're just looking for the right person. That is the target that we are wanting to capture with this strategy, because those people are more likely to sign up quickly. They need less, warming up, and they're ready to ultimately invest. So because of that, they are turning to Google to look for very, very specific solutions to their problem. We often think about SEO as it applies to blogging. And while that is amazing and also something we teach inside of Brandmerry Academy, you can get started with just site-wide SEO. What that essentially means is that you're wanting to categorize your website for your industry or your title. So if someone is looking for a branding coach, they would go to Google, they would type in branding coach, they would come across my name, which would then ultimately lead them to my website. The person who is looking for a branding coach is most likely in a place where they are ready to hire one. So this is where the second step comes in. At first we talked about your offering, very, very important. And the second step is going to be the research. You are going to have to do very thorough research in order to rank on Google. This is something that we teach the entire process step by step inside of Brandmerry Academy because it does matter. You can't just guess. There are so many entrepreneurs who are just guessing on what their site title should be. They're just guessing on what their blog title should be. There is data available to us on the internet that will tell us how likely we are to ultimately rank and if people are actually searching for that. So there are two tools that I love to use in my business. I've shared them before on this channel. One of them is called Uber Suggest. I will often use Uber Suggest when I'm creating SEO for my blog post. But then what do I use when I'm wanting to create my site-wide SEO? That tool is called Keywords Everywhere. Y'all, it's a paid tool, but it's like $10 for a ton of searches and a ton of data, and it's worth every freaking penny because you don't know what you don't know about keywords. And if you can really get the data to back up, what you ultimately want to title your site, what you want to put in your site description, then you're going to be able to rank, show up, and get traffic a lot faster. So Keywords Everywhere is my favorite tool. Of course, there are a lot out there. Feel free to do a bunch of research and just find the one that works for you, or just use the one that I recommend. So as I mentioned, you're going to want to do research. You're going to want to determine, what is your industry, what is your title, and are people searching for those specific keywords? So you might have to get a little creative with it. For instance, I have clients who are photographers who have, really broad location base, and there might be a lot of searches and a lot of competition for that location base. I'm not suggesting that they don't use those keywords, but what are some smaller markets, cities, towns near them that are also getting great searches that they can show up for? Because if there's less, competition, you're more likely to show up not only on page one, but also near the top. Again, really think about how you're saying things. So branding coach, for instance, that's something I've been ranking for a really long time. A couple of years ago, we added personal branding consultant. There's all kinds of different ways that you can talk about your industry or your title, your products, for instance. Let's say you create holistic skincare in San Diego, California, right? There's a lot of different ways that you can put these together to create your site title and your site description, but you want to make sure that it's backed up by data, that people are actually searching for it. Otherwise, it's not going to matter. Okay, so after you've done your research, then you want to start to implement the keywords that you have. So you're going to want to focus primarily on your site title and your site description. Every single website provider offers this. Myself and my clients use Squarespace quite a bit, but let's say you're using Showit, WordPress, Wix, anything like that. You can add your site title and your site description. Now, it can be really tempting when you're starting out to do this for every single page on your website, and that strategy is a little bit more complex because you don't want competing keywords. This is, again, something that we teach inside of Brandmerry Academy. But for now, I just want you to put this on your site title and your site description. That's going to autofill it for your homepage. That's where people are going to be visiting. So when you're doing this implementation, you're adding these keywords, it's also really important to note that your website is gonna make a big difference in the success of this traffic. You can have a beautiful website, but your messaging can suck, or you can have a great messaging, but your website isn't compelling. You wanna make sure that your website is optimized for these conversions because traffic means nothing. It's just a number if it's not ultimately resulting in leads and sales. So this is another level to SEO that we stress so much inside of Brandmerry Academy because what is on your website, how it is formatted, what you're offering, your messaging plays a really big role in this strategy even working at all. Then the final thing that you want to do is after you have implemented these pieces is that you want to start creating relevant content on your website. Now, like I mentioned before, this site-wide SEO strategy will start working immediately. I started showing up in search, pretty quickly. I think it was about 3 months I started showing up on page 1. We started to see an increase in traffic. Now I've just, broadened that because I have a lot of blog posts. I have a lot of content on my website. Because Google essentially wants to know, is what you're saying actually relevant, right? If you're saying that these are the keywords, this is how I want you to categorize my website, are you lying, right? Are you telling the truth? And by creating blog posts, additional pages, content like that mirrors those keywords, then you're ultimately telling Google that, like, yes, I'm a legit, right? I'm legit. So I have a lot of blog posts on branding, marketing, brand photo shoots, like all those different things that really back up my claim to being a branding coach, a personal branding consultant. So over time, you'll want to create these blog posts. Now, fun fact, blogging will not only help you show up via your site-wide SEO, but when you can implement really great SEO on your blog, you can also then rank your blog posts. So then you can start attracting your ideal customer at those early stages when they're just looking for solutions to their problem. And as we all know, blogging is a fantastic way to share content with your audience, to bring in new leads, to warm up your audience, so on and so forth. All the things I love to talk about. Again, another training inside of Brandmerry Academy. We really understand the importance of SEO as an entrepreneur. And so, the reason I wanted to share this video with you is that this has been consistent. This has been happening for 2-3 years now, where every month I am making thousands of dollars from someone finding me on Google. And this can be a mixture of my high-level one-on-one, which is where most of that is coming from, but also then discovering my website and opting into my email list and joining the academy, or buying one of my other courses or programs as well. The possibilities are endless. And if you're an entrepreneur that doesn't want to invest a ton of money in ads like myself and really wants to focus on these organic strategies, this is the best place to start. So like I said at the beginning of this video, this strategy can work for any type of business. The real meat of this is that you have to do the research. And so a lot of people think that, I don't want to sit down and do the research, so I'd rather just post every single day on social media. But in the long run, you're going to save yourself time. Not to mention, you're getting in front of quality leads, people who are ultimately ready to invest, rather than just putting a bunch of content out there and hoping that it lands in front of the right person. So I've shared with you the step-by-step of exactly how you can do this for your own business. But if you don't want to do it by yourself, then you can join us inside of Brandmerry Academy, where we teach you exactly how to set up the SEO, how to do the research, what to look for, so that you can start ranking on Google. As I mentioned, we also talk about blogging, we talk about video marketing, Pinterest, and so much more, so that you can ultimately take the pressure off of social media and still get your brand seen and ultimately paid. If you want to learn more, go to brandmerryacademy.com. As we wrap up this video, I'm going to share that client buying journey video with you one more time. I'd love for you to watch that. That's going to explain this process of the different stages a little bit more. And be sure to sign up for my new class all about marketing. Go to brandmerry.com/class. Link is also below in the description to watch that free class that I made special for you. All right, I'll see you next week in another video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have an awesome week. Bye.